Good morning, traders. This is Chris from Elite Currency. It is 6:15 a.m. UK time, and it's time for an update on the euro dollar and pound dollar. If you watch our videos regularly, you know that we always go to the analysis right away, but I want to make an exception for this video. If you want to support our community, our ECS free analysis, and the videos we make on YouTube, all of that for free, then you can do one thing in return to help us, is by joining XM Broker via ECS, via Elite Currency. Not only do you help us, but you help yourself too, because you get a lot of freebies and a lot of goodies, including a free ChemACD module and 3 months of live and SWAT. All right, so that's valid this month in October 2018. So join us. The link down below in the description box. All right, so now moving on to the euro dollar 4-hour chart, and we had a break to the upside. Let's show that on the hourly chart. You can see that we're talking about the flag, right, pattern over the weekend, and that should break to the upside for a continuation higher. And that's what happened indeed. We had a bounce off the 21 EMA zone. Here you go. You can see the fractal, the ECS fractal in the 21 EMA zone, indicating strong support. And we did get a push up from there, from the confirmation of the fractal to the high point, about 42 pips. If you put a fib on the wave 3, it kind of went to the minus 272 target, although it missed it by, I guess, a few, by 5 or so pips. Now, we got a rejection pretty soon at 115.50, and the main target was higher, right? If you take a look at the 4-hour chart, we were thinking about the R2 zone around 117.30. First of all, there is a left shoulder pattern, basically, a head and shoulders pattern potentially, and that also was a factor for that target, but also the weekly R2. So we expected price to go up further. Now, it could still be that price is going to bounce off this support zone, and if price would have moved down a little bit more weaker, right, because it moved down pretty strongly like this, if it would have behaved in a way like a flag or some kind of corrective pattern, I would have said that this is probably some type of wave 1, 2, or an A, B, and up it should go for a 2 or wave C to that 117.30 target I mentioned, right? Now, considering this momentum, it's a little bit unsure, and I would say it's 50-50 at the moment, whether we get the break to the downside or the bounce to the upside. So what is the target for downside if we do get the break? Let's take a look at that 4-hour chart again, and let's put a trend line like this. So if we get a break, first of all, below this double bottom, and also below this support zone in general here, let's put a trend line like this on the hourly chart. All right, so if you get a break below these head and shoulders pattern potential here and the previous bottom, and that's all around 114.40 down to 114.30, then I would expect price to fall to the previous bottom, and that you can see well on the daily chart. That's around 113 if I remember correctly. Yes, so you can see that that's the space. So if we get the break like this, price is going to fall to 113, I think, personally. If it breaks to the upside, then there's a good chance of price moving up to 117.30, which in turn is also a bouncing spot for downside because of the potential head and shoulders there. All right, now if it breaks below 113, of course, by the way, there could be more downside. So this is ultimately, I think, the key kind of picture you want to take a look at, whether we get the bearish breakout or the bullish breakout. So how do you measure the breakout? At what point is it interesting to trade? I think it's 50-50 at the moment, which of these two scenarios is going to take place. So how do we measure that? Well, for me, the upside, I'm looking for a break above this resistance trend line, the weekly pivot point, and the 21 EMA zone, a candle close above that, and I think that that's the confirmation for breakout to 117.30. All right, you can also draw a trend line like this, connecting these tops. It doesn't matter. In any case, roughly a break above the 21 EMA zone is my kind of key thing, and that's 115 is the key level, up to about 115.50. That's the key resistance zone. Break to the downside, 4-hour candle, I think, by the way, 4-hour chart is good enough. For downside, same time frame, 4-hour chart, and I'm looking for a 4-hour candle that could push below 114.30, close below it as well, and close near low. That would be the breakout candle. Then I'm looking for a retracement of that candle, and I expect a continuation down to 113. All right, so that's the euro dollar. Pound dollar, we got a break to the downside. You can see this support trend line broken. How did that happen? So we talked about the fact that this is either a wave A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3, and it's still actually possible that it's both are likely. Within the wave 3 or C, this part, we did have a potential wave 1, 2, 3. We talked about it, I think, over the weekend, and you can see here, if you have to put a fib from here to here, this being potential wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 4 stopped at the 50 fib, as you can see, and this corrective wave here was unable to break above that 50 fib. It also was unable to break above the long-term moving average and the weekly pivot point. So this particular bounce here would have been interesting to trade as a potential wave 5 within that wave C or wave 3, right? If you didn't get the bounce, then the breakout candle below the 21 EMA could have been the signal for a breakout as well, right? The bearish break below the 21 EMA and the support trend line. All of that is something we explain in the SWOT course and is also accessible to those that join XM Broker via ECS. All of that is in the educational course available. So you get the breakout and boom, price falls to the downside, and it falls a pretty good amount, about almost 100 pips there. So the question is this a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do we get one more push lower? Or does this finish a wave C, and are we going to see a bullish reversal to the upside? Now, looking at the MACD on the 4-hour chart, ECS MACD, we're losing a little bit of steam, but still I would say, yeah, it's 50-50. I wouldn't say that gives us much info. But if we look at the daily chart, I think it's clearly down at the moment because of the MACD bars that are clearly thick red, but also the daily candle. Price action itself, very bearish close near the low. So I'm expecting a follow through to the downside for the moment, at least to test the previous bottom here. And if it breaks below this bottom at 129, then we could see a lot more continuation. Because if you look at this daily chart, right, this support trend line has been broken, no matter how you draw it. All right, I guess something like that. That bearish candle, that daily candle, pierced through it, no doubt. So the next object, or the next goal for the pound dollar is the break of this low and a lower low. We already have a lower high. We have a break of the trend line. We have a re-break below the 21 EMA zone. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And so looking good for downside. The next target is 129.20. But if it breaks below that, then we could expect a lot more downside with the lower low. All right, so looking bearish to me for the moment. And I think that this is probably wave 3. We'll put it here, a fib from here to here. And I wouldn't expect price, let's get rid of this one. I wouldn't expect price to retrace deeper than the 38.50. Anywhere between the 23.6 fib, 38 and 50 are typical retracement levels. So we could expect something like this, break of this flag to the downside, and a continuation lower down to the 129.25 zone for the moment. All of that, I think, is looking like a wave 3, right? All of this is looking like a wave 3, this being wave 1, 2. It could be an ABC, but for the moment, because of that break, this break to the downside, I would favor a 1, 2, 3 for the moment. So if we get a pullback like this, and then a continuation like that, all of that could be within 1, 2, and a wave 3. That wave 3 could go a lot further, in fact, before we get to wave 4. All right, let's take a look at the internal divisions. This could be wave 1, 2. All of this could be wave 3 with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or, let me take a look. This bottom is important. Price went a little bit into that. So it could also be a different wave count. Something like a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of this is an extended wave 5, and you get basically maybe even a 5 wave within the 5 wave, for instance. Point is, if you're not a big fan of wave patterns, that's okay. My point is that the correction here and a break of that correction doesn't mean that that's the end, right? There could be another flag and another breakout, another flag, another breakout, and it could keep trending like this for quite a while within that wave 3. That's my point. One more thing, by the way, if it does break above the 50 fib, then something else might be going on, specifically if it breaks above the 21 EMA zone and the 61.8 fib, of course, then it's also re-breaking above the resistance, the past support, right? Support trend line that has been broken. In that case, price will be back above it. And then, of course, something else is going on. Price is also then re-breaking above this support trend line, right? So if it breaks above the 50 fib, that's already warning number 1. If it breaks above the 78.6 fib, that's warning number 2, that this is probably not the bearish breakout that I expect, but in that case, it is looking like a correction. This could be an A, B, C correction. There could be even a triangle, up for D, down for E, and it could break, in fact, in that case, to the upside, all right? And we will be having this kind of wave pattern going on with a triangle like this. So this doesn't seem likely at the moment, but if you get a break above the 50 fib, if you get a break above the 78.6 fib, then in that case, we fail to break this below this low, and we have a lower high and a higher low, and this could turn into a triangle, a bullish triangle probably in that case, that could break to the upside. All right, that's it for now. Make sure to check out our special offer. You also help support our ECS community, and we can expand with new writers and new contributors and new analysis. So if you like our free work already, then of course this will definitely help us boost our community and the work we do with you. All right, wish you all great trading, everyone, and talk to you soon. Cheers.